Paradise, everyone. I am your host, Marissa, and we're here with my co-host, Dystro. Say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Happy Sunday, everyone. I hope everybody had a good weekend. My weekend was pretty okay. The weather was actually good this weekend, so had one last little feel of summer, before fall finally hits.
Uh,
Is it
yeah.
still raining down there?
Oh, it's always raining. It's Florida. What do you expect?
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you guys for joining tonight. We're glad you guys are here. Before we get started with tonight's episode, as you guys know, today is September 11th, and what is it, 21 years ago now?
Yep.
Yeah, 21
Uh,
years ago,
yes.
that tragic 9/11 event happened. Just wanted to take the quick little moment here to, how do we want to put this, Jay? Sure, like you're probably better at wording this than I am.
We we want to pay to our respects to the people that have lost family members, lost their lives, and also honor the people that uh were there to try to save the lives of those people that day. Um, it's very tragic to hear people that just lost their lives like over 20 years ago.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's
21
it's
years ago.
it's crazy. um I woke up this morning and I didn't even realize that it was 9/11, because I was uh I would be almost 3 that year.
I wasn't even
And
born yet.
yeah, and there were some friends of mine, they weren't even thought of yet. They were probably like like a year before it happened and all that stuff. So it's like we wanted to take this time
To pay our
to
respects.
pay our respects. And um it's just a very tragic day. But let's not focus on the negatives. We want to
Right.
focus on the positives. And I think there's probably some people that probably remember that day and they have, PTSD after that. But it's like, you know, it's not going to be something that goes away very vividly, but we'll just try to be like, okay, world's a better place now. Let's hope it doesn't happen again,
Yeah, let's lighten up the mood, And that's what we're here for. We're here to help, pick people back up, when they're down. But yeah,
Mhm.
just wanted to pay our respects to those who lost their lives in the tragic 9/11 incident, which happened 21 years ago to this date. Um, but yeah, we're thankful that people are still here, and there are people that have survived that incident, and we're very thankful that they're here and they're here to tell to tell their story. My voice is still going a little bit. Okay, so let's jump into tonight's episode. So, it has been a while since we really talked about wrestling here on this podcast. So I figured why not go back a little bit and let's finish up our top 10 wrestling stuff with the top 10 WWE stars. Um, this list was actually pretty easy for me. I didn't really have to change my list at all once I wrote it down. Pretty easy, pretty solid list that I'm confident about. I've got wrestlers from back in the day, when I was a kid, all the way up to now, as I'm like 20. I know you had to change your list multiple times. That's true.
Yeah, yeah. I had to change mine not once but twice. Because there were certain wrestlers that I didn't want to put on the list, but then I did on honorable mentions, and then it's like I was like, oh wait, no, I gotta put this guy on there. And it's like, no wait, I don't want this guy, and stuff. It was just a whole fiasco. But I got my confirmed list to a
All
T.
right,
So
all right. So let's get the show on the road. Um, you want me to go first?
go ahead, ladies first.
All right, so as you guys remember with our top 10 list, we start from 10, go all the way to 1, and we do discussions at the end, why we chose who we chose, and stuff like that. I'm going to start with my honorable mentions. I have 3. I have Carlito, I have Rey Mysterio, and Booker T. Those are my honorable mentions for this episode. All right, so 10 to 1, here we go. Number 10 is Drew McIntyre. Number 9, John Morrison. Number 8, Matt Riddle. Number 7, Edge. Number 6, Kevin Owens. Number 5, Dean Ambrose. Number 4, Chris Jericho. Number 3, Eddie Guerrero. Number 2, Mick Foley. And number 1 is Batista.
Huh. Okay. Okay. I have so many honorable mentions, but I'm gonna just try to keep it kind of short. So my honorable mentions are Cesaro, Sasha Banks, Bailey, who carried the pandemic, by the way, Aleister Black when he used to be in the company, um, William Regal, Jericho, and D'Lo Brown.
There you go.
Some different variations here, but it's okay. Uh, so my top 10, it's kind of a mixture of present and past. So yeah. All right. So okay, I had somebody as my number 10. It was gonna be Batista. But then I was like, I'll just have him as an honorable mention. So my number 10 is Damian Priest.
Oh,
My
fuck. Now I feel dumb. This sucks. Right off the bat, I'm like, oh, fuck. We have to put him on my list.
Oh fuck! I can't believe you done this.
Okay, keep going.
My 10 was Damian Priest. My number 9 was Randy Orton. My number 8 was Lita. Now my number 7 is a tie between Mysterio and Rock. I'm probably gonna lean towards Rock here. Number 6 is Trish. My number 5 is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Uh, my number 4 is Cena. My number 3 is Kurt Angle. My number 2 is Roman Reigns. And my number 1 is Eddie Guerrero.
Okay, yeah, Eddie has to be on the list no matter
Oh,
what.
yeah, of course.
I
matter what.
fucking forgot to put Orton. If I were to swap one of these out, it would have to be my number 9. I would have swapped out Orton and Morrison. But obviously I can't change that.
Oh,
Jeez, that sucks. But oh man, it's like you have like when you do these lists, you have like a set list of wrestlers in your mind that you just want to go from 10 to 1 with. Like that's kind of how how I did it. I went with based off of like who I watched growing up, who I enjoyed watching growing up, all the way till now.
mm-hmm.
Obviously my number 8, I put Riddle because I have been watching Riddle since last year, and I saw like I was like going into his NXT stuff, you know, on my own time on YouTube, and he has done some good shit. And
Yeah.
I just like him as a wrestler. Plus, he's really funny. But like when he's serious, he is serious. Like he will freaking kick your
And,
ass.
and yeah, and plus, like, he was a legitimate MMA fighter, too. So it's like he's got that background behind him that makes him such a badass, too.
Oh yeah.
But it's like he's had like really good matches with Adam Cole, which you despise. Uh, Key, oh God, I think Balor on a few occasions, I believe. Like his NXT run was killer.
Stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah. Roman suck. He should.
so you can.
he's had some pretty good matches as a solo competitor, like not just in NXT, but in the All right. So I'm just gonna start plucking from my list, and we'll go on to yours in a minute. Must be a connection. So for my number 5, I had went with Ambrose. Well, everybody knows Mr. John Moxley now. I picked Ambrose because I absolutely loved his stuff in WWE when I was a kid. Because like growing up in middle school, he was like my favorite. He was my crush. Like I always I admired him. I still admire him to this day. I with the Shield, but I loved his stuff even more on a solo run when the Shield split and he went his own separate way. He had that rivalry with Rollins that was fucking killer.
Mm-hmm.
Had a rivalry with Jericho. He had a thing with Kevin Owens for a while. I remember 2015 all the way up to 2016. He was on SmackDown and he held the title. He held the WWE title. He's just an overall fantastic wrestler. And now that he's in AEW, he's even more of a badass now with that character.
Yeah, he's gotten creative freedom to do whatever the fuck he wants.
I'm not going to cover so much about Ambrose this episode tonight is because, well, no, we did an episode where we covered both faces of Jonathan Good. If you guys should go check it out. It should be called Debate Hour. Dean Ambrose versus John Moxley, 2 faces of Jonathan Good. You guys need to go watch that because I covered everything about Dean Ambrose. I covered everything. So please go ahead and check it out. Good episode. Probably one of my favorite episodes on this channel. So yeah, if you guys got time.
Good little plug.
Eddie, yeah, you're number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I put him at 3, but there is a reason because the number 2 and number 1 I remember more. I was too young to remember Eddie Guerrero. I was like 3 years old past. I didn't start watching wrestling till like 07, 08. So unfortunately I did not get to watch him wrestle. But now that I'm old, went on my own, did some research, watched a shit ton of matches, watched a ton of documentaries. He's awesome. Wish I was older when he was wrestling. I was not older. I was a wee lad.
A wee lad.
Very, very one of a kind, special being. He's so down to earth. He's just a fantastic wrestler. Very funny when he does his funny shit. Very.
Oh yeah.
With the cheat, he cheats in the matches and stuff. Very, very funny. Very, very smart. He's a family man through and through. So I believe we did an episode way back about Eddie Guerrero. We did like a Guerrero way back on this channel when we first started. Go check that out as well, guys. Fucking good episode. Yeah, God bless Eddie. He was one of a kind. Like, he's just that guy.
Yeah, it was like he had so many good matches in WCW and ECW and WWE too. Like most notably Rey Mysterio right off the bat too, because it's like they had such good chemistry together, and it showed.
Whether they were together or whether they were number 1 rivals.
His
perfect.
And like he was part of the SmackDown 6 stuff with Benoit, Angle, Edge, Mysterio, and Chavo and all that stuff, and like he made a huge name for himself as soon as he went from ECW to WCW and then went to WWE. So it's like within I guess a span of 8-9 years, he went to 3 different companies, I believe. It's crazy. It's like I could be pulling this straight out of my ass too. So
he fought some demons, came back, but unfortunately by the time he bounced back from his demons, it was too late. His heart gave out and ended up passing away while he was brushing his teeth, actually. He was brushing his teeth and his heart gave out.
Yeah, and it was just crazy that Chavo was the one to see him.
Oh, yeah. Jeez. His own nephew.
Man. Oh, boy. Okay.
God bless him, man. God bless him. All right, so I skipped number 4 on accident. Number 4, I put Jericho. Of fucking course, I put Jericho. I think I put him on the AEW list too, but I don't remember what I put him as for the number. I think I might have put him lower. I don't remember. I loved Jericho growing up. He was like one of my favorites. Like when I started watching in like 07, 08, he had that feud going on with Shawn Michaels.
Oh yes,
That's
that
what I
was
remember,
awesome.
and he was like my number one. I loved Jericho. I forgot to put Shawn Michaels on my fucking list.
Hey, I did too. So
Fuck. Oh man, we should have just did like 2 different lists. Like one of like wrestlers from like 2000 to 09 and like never mind, you know what I mean. We did
yes,
that with the pay-per-views. But
yeah.
anyways, Jericho, man. I absolutely loved him growing up. Even though he was a heel, everybody fucking hated him. And then he had
Mm.
didn't he have a thing with John Cena as well that following year? Or was it the same year?
I know he had a feud with Cena in 05, 06, like when like Cena was getting very like pushed like down our throats,
He did
because
have another
around that time,
oh,
yeah, because
it
like
was 08.
it was like around that like 05, 06 era. It was like because Jericho was about to leave to go do his tour with his band Fozzy. I remember that. Um, but then like yeah, like you said, like 08, 09, around that time frame, like he had another feud with Cena and stuff.
Yeah, I just
So
found the match. Survivor Series '08, Jericho versus Cena. I sort of remember that. I remember the theme song for the pay-per-view was an AC/DC song from the newest album, Black Ice at the time. um,
yeah.
but yeah, I absolutely loved Jericho growing up. I love the stuff he did with Kevin Owens when he came
Oh
back.
yeah, yeah, that was cool.
Oh man, funny shit. And then he had, he was wasn't yeah, he was tag team partners with the Big Show. That was a
Jericho, yeah.
fucking weird pairing.
It well, the funny thing is, I know the kind of the true story behind that a little bit. It was just because like they were gonna do a angle between Jericho and Edge, because at the time they were gonna be feuding for the world title at Mania, and they I think it was like Edge had went down with an injury, and like they just won the tag titles too. So
Uh,
so then they were like, okay, well, let's get somebody else to be a partner. Oh, hey, Big Show. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, okay, you're partners with Jericho now. It's like, okay. And that's how Jericho got formed.
oh my, that's interesting.
I was just like, okay, we'll run with it then.
But yeah, I love Jericho. Always have, always will. Even in AEW, he's one of my favorites. Even though I hate the Jericho Appreciation Society right now. I hate that name.
Inner Circle was better.
Inner Circle was better. Yes. Inner Circle for life. Um, all right. So I'm gonna just talk about my top two, and then we will switch over to your list and talk about some people from there. All right.
Heard it.
Okay, so my number two, I put Mick Foley. I told you about this the other night, Dystro. Mick Foley is
Down
by
to earth.
far one of the nicest, down to earth people
No,
I've
yeah.
ever like seen
Hmm.
in this fucking world. I have an A&E documentary about Mick Foley that they did during the pandemic, and I was watching it, and he loves kids. He loves children. He's just that kind of guy. He loves people. Like he's just like he will donate to charities. He will literally go out and do stuff for kids and stuff like that. Plus, he has kids of his own. He's a family man. Um,
Hmm.
kind soul, and I follow him on Twitter too.
Like, hey guys.
Drama.
Oh
Like
no.
he's like, hey, watch wrestling for wrestling. Like he's that kind of guy. Like he's not the one for the drama in the pro wrestling scene. He likes wrestling for wrestling, and that's how it should fucking be. Just watch the wrestling and enjoy it.
Yeah, not do with backstage politics.
Yeah. Also, but yeah. Besides Mick Foley's, personality outside the ring or even inside the ring, he's a fucking amazing wrestler. He put his body through hell. For the fuck's
Oh
sake,
yeah,
his half his ear is gone.
yeah. It's like it's just so crazy because like he still wrestled that match
Yeah,
despite losing his fucking ear. I'm like, oh my god, Mick.
this guy's a madman.
It's like yeah, it's it's like in modern day wrestling and stuff like that. It's like you just like you hear like wild stories about Mick Foley and like Mick Foley will probably either be like, well, yeah, that's true or that's not true, but it's like, hey, I would love to do it, sort of thing, because it's like you, me, and our friend Mac, uh, if he's listening, hi Mac, uh, we were just talking about that like not like too long ago too, and we were talking about like the infamous Hell in a Cell spots and stuff like that, and like he just puts his body through hell,
He
like.
does.
Like, I don't know how his body's just not dust.
And the thing is, he is in my number one favorite match of all time, which is Mick Foley versus Randy Orton at Backlash '04. That match is my favorite of all time. He really helped Randy Orton, like,
Hmm. For sure.
really like sprout to the top. He made his name known that night.
Yeah, it's like the Randy Orton the Legend Killer gimmick was not just a gimmick. Like he literally like almost killed Mick Foley.
Yeah,
He almost killed him.
but you can't
Like,
forget that legendary face of Randy that he made
oh
when he got
yeah.
slammed into the thumbtacks.
It's like I loved oh god. I think it was King on commentary. He's like, oh my god. I was just like, okay. I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh man, but God bless Mick Foley, man. Did you put him on your list?
I didn't because it's just like I don't remember him that much. I didn't remember him that much. Don't shame me. Don't shame
I'm
me.
not. Oh man, you can
Like
at least
okay,
put him in your honorable mentions.
yeah, like he's always going to be the honorable mentions. Like I mean, people okay, people don't understand like it's hard to do a top 10. If we did a
It
top 20,
is.
that's
Even a top
fine.
20 is hard too for me because
Yeah,
I have so many
it's
amazing wrestlers.
yeah, because like we can't do a top 50 because we'd be here all fucking day. So it's like,
We don't
you
have
know,
all fucking.
we don't have all fucking day. Um,
Oh man.
but yeah, like Mick Foley, he's always gonna be on the top of somebody's list. Like
Oh yeah.
always.
It's like
Like
Eddie. Like you can't not put Eddie on your list.
yeah, it's like you can't not put Eddie on there. And funny enough, Jericho and Mick, they've all been in the exact same companies too. ECW, WCW, and WWE.
Wow. That's
It's
cool.
just weird because it's like it's like when you think about it, it's like, oh yeah, they have. All right.
Okay, so let's get to my number one. Talk about a few people from your list while we have time. My number one, I put Batista. He has always been one of my favorite wrestlers growing up to this day. Still one of my favorite wrestlers, even though he doesn't wrestle anymore. He's in movies. I think I've seen a couple movies with him in it, and he's a really good fucking actor. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
He looks good for his age too. Like, god damn.
Damn.
When he was a wrestler, I remember him from Evolution with Orton, Triple H, and Ric Flair. I remember him as Reverend Devon, excuse me, as his bodyguard. He was like Reverend
Oh, the
Devon's
Deacon.
bodyguard.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
Deacon Batista.
that. Now I've said that. I don't know if I might have said this before. If you take a look at Batista compared to AEW's Wardlow, there's
No, brother.
so many fucking similarities there. They're both world champion material. Obviously, Batista's been world champion a few times. Wardlow is currently TNT champion for AEW. He's definitely um, world champion material. They have similar builds. Um, I don't remember how old Batista was when he started his career.
I think he was early 20s, maybe mid 20s at that point.
Yeah, and I think Wardlow started late 20s, early 30s. He said he got a late jump in his career.
Yeah, it's like a late start.
Yeah. But man, there's so many similarities between them two. And the funny thing is, Wardlow said in an interview one time on the Chris Van
Oh,
show or whatever,
yes.
he said
Fish
that
family.
Batista, yeah, he said that Batista is his biggest influence.
Mhm.
He's always been his hero. So that also is kind of why I like Batista a lot more today as well. But I remember a lot of classic Batista matches, like when he turned heel on Rey, when him and Rey used to be partners.
Oh, yeah.
He turned heel on Rey. I remember all the like the backstage stuff with Eddie, like him taking Eddie's lunch. I remember that.
Mhm.
Driving in the lowrider and stuff like that. And on the SmackDown tribute for Eddie, he was the first one to come out because at the time he was world champion. He came out in Eddie's lowrider and stuff like that and said words about Eddie. That was on the SmackDown tribute for Eddie Guerrero when he had passed in 05. Um, but yeah, I also remember when Batista turned heel on Evolution. Good old thumbs up to a thumbs down.
Yeah, because it was funny because like Triple H was world champion at that time, and it's just like you see him and Ric Flair like, yeah, buddy, yeah, and you just see Batista go,
What?
nah, man, nah,
Nah,
fam.
man.
He just power bumps Triple H for the damn table.
Oh, that started a whole fucking thing, man. Oh, good times, good times. All right,
Yeah,
let's talk a little bit about your list. Who do you want to mention first that's on your list?
I would say maybe Kurt Angle,
Okay, so you put Kurt Angle. What number was he?
number 3.
Okay, now I'm getting a lot of hate. Not hate, a lot of shade for this. I actually didn't like Kurt Angle growing up. Him and Jeff Jarrett, like those were two wrestlers I could never get into.
Well,
Still can't.
Jeff Jarrett has always been a dickhead, so.
Up to this day, I still cannot get into those two wrestlers at all. My dad loves Kurt Angle. I just, not really.
it's like it's like I've always liked Kurt Angle. I liked his comedy because he's always been good at comedy. Like him with like Stone Cold back in the day and stuff like that. It was just the funniest shit ever.
Fucking milk truck. I remember that.
And the little cowboy hats.
Yeah.
the but it's like when he started doing like more be more like ruthless and stuff like that, like with Benoit and Eddie and and Cena and all that stuff, and then he went to TNA, became Perk Angle, and just went on a fucking tear, just buried everybody.
Pretty much.
uh, and it's like like then he went back to WWE, become Raw General Manager and stuff like that. I liked him as Raw General Manager. I liked him in that role.
Yeah, I remember.
And then like he recently showed up to an episode of Raw to have a little funny segment with Edge again and stuff like that. So it's like I kind of grew up watching Angle. It's like but I didn't remember much of Angle sort of thing. But it's like if you got to know more of his matches more, Marissa, it's like I think you would like him more. Um, but it's like you gotta like watch him to get used to him more.
I think as I have. I grew up watching him on TNA. I've seen some of his WWE stuff. I have a WWE DVD of Kurt Angle that my dad wanted to buy, which I got here. I couldn't even get to the first disc. I was just getting bored.
Wow.
Yeah, I just can't get into it. It's like JBL. I can't stand JBL.
Well, that's why he's on my honorable mentions. So,
So who was your number
JV,
two?
Roman Reigns.
Oh, fucking hell. God damn it.
Yes, I know. Yes, I know.
Why?
For what? What?
For what?
For what? But it's like I'm just loving his heel run right now. I'm just loving it right now.
Yeah, my dad and I are so fucking sick of it. Like, we literally watch SmackDown every Friday, and we're just like, okay, when are the belts coming off? Like, we're sick of it.
When Cody comes back, I don't know.
Please, Cody.
Cody, if you're watching or you're listening to this, please help us, brother.
Oh my God.
It's like he was so kind of lackluster in the Shield and stuff like that. It's like, and his only catchphrase was "suffering succotash" and shit and all that crap, and became a John Cena bootleg and all that stuff, and he got buried by John Cena in that one promo.
Yep.
And it's just like, after all that, it's like, there's no way he's gonna be coming back from that. Like, there's no way. But then, like, pandemic rolled around and stuff like that, he turned heel, all blah 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 blah, and all that stuff. And his
Became a Paul
promos,
Heyman guy.
yeah, he became a Paul Heyman guy and all that stuff, and did the bloodline thing. We're the ones, blah blah blah. It's just like, I put him as my number 2 because, like, some of his matches from the past, like, 2 years when he came back were, like, so memorable. But it's like, it's gonna be Cody's time to get those belts off of him.
Please,
It's gonna be.
like, fucking hell. Either him or Seth.
Triple threat. You never know. Hey.
Oh God! Hey! That's a good idea.
Okay, so we'll move on from Bowman Baines here. Let's go to John Cena then.
Yes. Okay, I forgot to put him on my list too. But
It's like, you hear the excitement in her voice, Fitz, when I said John Cena.
John Cena is. Yes,
he's always been
overrated, very overrated, but he's iconic as hell.
Especially when he did the white boy rap gimmick.
Oh God,
back
the
then.
Thugonomics.
Dr. Thugonomics. The first match that comes to my mind when I think of Cena was Vengeance 03. It was him versus Undertaker.
I got a couple matches that come to mind when it comes to Cena. One is that Fatal 4-Way. It was him, Orton, Edge, Shawn Michaels.
Oh. Yeah, Backlash 07.
Backlash always has fucking good matches. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's always a pay-per-view. It's always.
That, and then there's a match from SummerSlam. Brock literally killed.
Oh, that was 2014?
I think it was 2012.
No, 2012 was Triple H versus Brock.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I have my timelines wrong here.
I think.
Hold on, let me Google her here. Brock versus Cena. When was it? That doesn't help me.
I think 2014.
Have more than one encounter.
I think back in the day they did, but
yeah, there was a 2014 encounter. I feel like there was another one though. Well, yeah, I think it might have been that one, the 2014 one. He literally fucking killed Cena. My dad, I couldn't watch it for another minute.
He took him to Suplex City, bitch.
Well, I remember John Cena was busted open in this match.
With those elbows, those Brock elbows.
He literally killed Cena. This is when Brock had this big comeback. Well, Brock had his big comeback in 2012. Yeah, he did have an encounter with Cena in 2012 because remember, Cena was like talking.
Oh yes.
Brock came out and like surprised
Extreme
everybody.
Rules. That's what it was.
Fucking F5'd him. Yeah, I think it might have been that match. Extreme Rules.
Yeah,
I can't fucking remember.
Yeah, it was Extreme Rules 2012 because that's when Cena won and just like de-escalated Brock's momentum after that.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's not that match because the match I remember Cena lost. He got destroyed.
Yeah, that was the SummerSlam match. Yeah, that's what.
Cena is iconic. He's had so many good matches. He is Hall of Fame material to a T.
Yes, very, very much.
Oh my God. So what number did you put him as for your list?
4.
Okay, that's a pretty solid choice. I mean,
yeah, solid number. Okay.
Like you said, Eddie is number 1 on your list, so like that works. That works perfectly.
Roman. Is
there anybody on your list that you'd like to mention as well?
Randy Orton.
Okay, Orton. Yeah, I feel like shit. I didn't put him on my fucking list.
He is my number 9 though.
Okay, well, if I would have thought that, okay, if we were like doing category lists, Orton would be like my number 5 for like a ruthless aggression list.
Okay.
Orton is like fucking amazing. Like you just talked about the Legend Killer gimmick and the
Mm-hmm.
Viper and all that. His stuff with Evolution when he came in, it's Bob Orton's son. He had the iconic match with Foley that really took him to the top. He was just like, man, look at him now. Like, I mean, obviously he's technically still going, but he's like not, on TV right now. Isn't he injured or something? Or is
Yes.
it or is it kayfabe?
I think he's legitimate injured, but I can't remember. It's
You
like
can't
it's not
tell
like
nowadays.
it's like the Riddle injury. That was kind of like a kayfabe one because it was just
Yeah.
like they just wanted to wait till Clash of the Castle. But I remember a little backstage, like little info of the match that he had with Taker at Mania 21. The one where it's like, Mania goes Hollywood, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Apparently, that was supposed to be Orton's night, uh, getting the dead man's number and taking the streak before Brock
Wow.
did. But Orton back then had a little temper tantrum and a little, melodrama attitude and all that stuff, and uh, just had to lose 1, 2, 3 straight to the dead man.
I remember as a kid hearing about his motorbike accident.
Hmm.
Like that was real. Like that was a real life accident. He was out for several months. He got hurt bad somewhere on his body. I can't remember. I was a little kid hearing about it.
I think it was his arm because back then it was either his arm or his shoulder or something. But it was like back then, like they had a little like update little segment that they did back then, and it was just like he's like, hey fans, it's me, Randy Orton. He's like, my arms, not 100% yet, but it's like we'll get there. And then it's just like it goes up like a certain percentage sort of thing, and then it's like it gets to 100%. It's like, hey, I'm fully healed, and stuff like thank you for all the well wishes and all this stuff. And I was like, that was an actual thing back then. I was like, holy shit.
I remember that as a kid. I remember my dad telling me that Orton got in a motorbike accident. I'm like, oh my god. Like,
Mhm.
geez, like little kid me, like didn't understand what was going
Oh
on,
no.
but oh man, those were the good old days. All right, so we are getting a little short on time, so I apologize, Dystro, but we're gonna have to cut the episode here. So, how do you guys think we did? Did your picks make the cut? Let us know in the comments below what your top 10 WWE superstars of all time would be. I'm pretty interested in hearing what you guys have to say. Um, all right, so got a couple things to do before we end this episode. First of all, song of the night is my pick for song of the night. Um, once again, you know what? We should just do it. Y'all should just do a challenge at home. I shouldn't be encouraging alcoholism, but take a shot every time I mention Billy Talent in an episode.
Take
Um,
that too.
all
That's
right,
number 2.
so tonight's song of the night is going to be the song Dead Silence by Billy Talent off of their album Dead Silence, which just turned 10 years old today.
Woo!
Exactly 10 years ago today, in 2012, Billy Talent released their fourth album titled Dead Silence. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. It's been a while since I've listened to it. I'm still on the hunt for it, actually. I want to get a copy of it, CD wise, to add to my collection. So, yeah, tonight's song of the night is Dead Silence by Billy Talent. So, if you guys are interested in hearing it, please click on the top right hand corner of the video when the link pops up so you guys can go ahead and listen to it. All right, so this Thursday coming up, we're going to get into more of a serious topic on the podcast. We have been kind of pushing this episode off just a little bit. We're finally getting into the Benoit episode. This is going to have a lot of trigger sensitive topics, so if you are trigger sensitive, please do not watch the episode this Thursday. I will put a disclaimer at the beginning of the video as well for those who are just clicking to tune in. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, it's the Chris Benoit story. It's going to be a very probably one of the most controversial episodes we've done on the show. So if you guys are interested in that, be sure to watch this Thursday. It's probably going to be, I'm thinking, a longer episode than usual. But it's okay. It's a good topic to talk about. Very interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be very, very interesting because it's like there's some good times and then there's some bad times with Chris Benoit.
Dark
It's like
times.
very, very, very dark times.
Oh yes, and I've got a lot to talk about because I have watched a lot of different documentaries ranging from back in 07 when the bullshit happened all the way up to now with the Dark Side of the Ring documentaries I've watched.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say too. I was about to say Dark Side. Yeah.
And then a few documentaries in between that people have done. So if you guys are interested in watching that, be sure to stay tuned for the Thursday. All right, so if you guys stuck around to the very end of this episode, we greatly appreciate it. Be sure to follow us on social media by clicking on the link in the description below, which will take you to our Linktree website, which has everything there you need, such as Dystro's gaming YouTube channel, our TikTok account, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit. I need to start making a list of what we have on there.
I have my own TikTok and stuff.
I haven't put that in there. Huh. Well,
You're slacking.
I'll probably do it in the next time we do an episode because it's late and I want to get this episode up. So yeah, thank you guys for listening, and we will catch you guys this Thursday. Peace.
Peace.